Welcome to the Shiftwork Athlete Podcast. We connect with shift workers conquering life challenges and chasing big fitness goals. The goal of this podcast is to inspire and motivate our shiftwork community to stay fit and stay healthy with such a unique lifestyle. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Shiftwork Athlete Podcast. My name is Spencer Barlow, and today I have Erin Castell joining me. She is my girlfriend, if you guys do not know that already. So Erin and I have been in the fitness industry for some time. She's much newer to it than I am, but she is an F45 coach and soon to be paramedic. We were sitting down and we were talking about how we want to bring more value to you guys and basically share some of our thoughts and ideas about how to get yourself into the gym, get into a good healthy routine, finding support along the way, and where to look when it comes down to getting fit, especially if you are a shift worker. So today, Erin and I are going to go through some topics, and we're just going to have a conversation about ways that you guys can really benefit from starting to train for a race, for example, or just simply getting into a gym setting where you are just trying to create yourself a much healthier lifestyle around fitness, your mental well-being, and just feeling more physically confident. So, Erin, thank you so much for finding time in your busy day, because I know your day is not done yet. You actually have to go back to the gym at some point. But thank you for sitting down with me, and let's get into this. So basically, we're going to start off with why do you want to get fit and in shape? So Erin, if you would like to crack the ice.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool topic because I know that Spencer and I talk about this stuff a lot. And so we wanted to make a podcast because I think it's super useful information for a lot of people. I think both of us work a lot with people who are trying to incorporate fitness into their lifestyle, trying to find ways to do so. And we've both heard every excuse in the book, and you want to kind of tackle some major topics of how to overcome those common things, because I think a lot of people, they think they're alone in the adversity that they're facing, and they're not. So yeah. Do you want me to talk about specifically why, like my own journey, or just in general?
Let's just keep it on the topic specific. So, let's just dig into the value of why somebody wants to incorporate fitness into their day to day. And let's keep it maybe around more towards shift workers.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think, it comes a point in everyone's life when they realize the importance of fitness. And starting from being a very beginner is pretty daunting, especially when you don't have the knowledge or the tools at your disposal. What I've noticed is people who are the most motivated have a goal or something overarching that's more than just themselves, and that's more than, I guess, surface level. So there's something deep. There's a deep desire to start your journey. And I think once people have that desire to do so, they need to just roll with it, because that's kind of like how I feel about that.
Yeah. So, the deep desire to chase a goal, or they might have some sort of health condition that, fitness is now something that they need to make priority. Or if they are starting a job where they're not necessarily on their feet as much as they were in previous jobs, it's trying to figure out what that why is specifically when it comes down to exercising. And I think, for a lot of people that, I just want to be healthy is not a big enough why for them to stay committed. Just because I think when it comes down to our health, a lot of people like to walk that fine line where it's like, I don't really think of my health. I'm too focused on, my kids, my relationship. When am I going to eat that day? What are my priorities around work and commuting and all that stuff, right? There's so many other things that get pushed to the front line of priorities that your personal health kind of gets pushed back. So, it's unfortunate that some people need to wait until they have a scare that makes them really go, oh, you know what, priority number one should be my health and fitness. And, you know, let's try to figure out how we can make health, or try to make, you know, your personal health more important. Something that isn't brushed off. It should be something that when you're waking up in the morning and, you know, it's priority number one for you of how am I going to make time for this goal that I need to achieve. Is, you know, promoting longevity, feeling better in your skin, having the energy to feel good physically and mentally at work or with your family, right? And so, you know, when it comes down to trying to figure out that why, you have to ask yourself multiple times, why am I doing this? It could be 5 times you ask yourself why. It could be 10 times you ask yourself that why question. You got to keep digging deeper on, you know, physical exercise and the importance of it for you specifically. And I mean, it's okay if you want to broaden it out and get healthy or fit for someone else. If that's a motivator for you, by all means, use that as a way to motivate you.
Yeah, I think another thing is physical exercise is one piece of the puzzle. A lot of people say, okay, I'm going to start working out. But as overwhelming as it might seem, there's a lot more that goes into it. You kind of have to take all of these things that mean being healthy and start to put the puzzle pieces together. So just working out in itself is amazing. It's one step in the right direction. But I find that people who have the most success in a transformation in health, in lifestyle, are the people who completely take a look at their whole life and make individual changes in different parts of their lives. So whether that be eating healthy being one of them, and then, you know, working out being just one piece of the puzzle, but there's so much more than that. There's sleep, there's hydration, there's potentially supplementation. It's just like, it's more overarching than just working out. And I think people get overwhelmed by that. And that might be one thing that kind of stops people in their journey. But it's really, once you have the motivation to start working out, it's kind of about how to support that and not just working out in general.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, you know, it's the words that we choose to use about working out. So like, I personally do not use the words working out, because for me, I look at working out as like a chore. I'm training to be a better version of myself. I mean, you could use the word working out as well if that means something strong to you. But yeah, just to, you know, go back to you mentioning about the supplements, the sleep and all that stuff, you know, physical exercise will help, you know, make those things work better in your favor. You work out, you're exhausted, you're going to have a great sleep. You work out, you're exhausted, you're going to eat better because you want to replenish your energy with healthier fuel to make sure that you are performing at your best. We're not going to get into nutrition and stuff like that today, but it all has a ripple effect, and it all works its way into every single branch that you are growing, or the tree that you have established, or your foundation, right? And I'm using, I apologize, my next door neighbor. I'm using the tree analogy because, you know, if you have a huge tree and the foundation or its roots are not healthy, or, you know, it's not getting the proper sun or the rain that it needs to stay strong, and being able to handle winds and things that, you know, are potentially trying to knock it over, then, you know, your body is the same way. If you are not, you know, building your foundation around your sleep, your nutrition, your stress, those things there are going to knock you over and not make you want to feel productive or motivated to want to exercise. And it's a normal feeling to experience when it comes down to, you know, putting something that's new into your daily routine, or making something that, you know, it needs to be a priority into your routine. Yes, there's going to be those challenges on the way, but if you come up with a strong foundation, that's going to allow you to be more successful. So, just to close off this topic specifically, is trying to figure out what that why is. Why do you want to get fit, and why do you want to stay in shape? And, like I said, it's got a ripple effect. So there's going to be so many other things that are going to really benefit you by working out, even if it's 5 minutes a day. So, how are you going to get in shape now? Let's dig into that, right? And I'm just going to start it off that you do not need a full hour to work out, okay? That is bullshit. That is just what the mainstream talks about, because it's you're not working out if you're not in the gym for an hour. That is bullshit. You could do 2 minutes of something that's high intensity, 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and give yourself a hell of a sweat. Your heart rate gets elevated. You're getting your blood going. The body's, moving from top to bottom. Like, you could do 5 minutes. You could do 10 minutes. You could do 30 minutes. You could do 40 minutes. Just find something that you could squeeze into your time, into your schedule, and that's going to be time efficient for you to know that, hey, I've done something today.
Yeah, and I think that's a mentality that a lot of people have that we were talking about too. I definitely started off with this mentality of it's kind of all or nothing. If I have the hour, I have an hour, and if I don't, then I'm doing nothing. I think actually a good example of this is Spencer over the winter. You were injured and you were doing little tiny 15, 20 minute run walks
on the
treadmill. Just
5-10 minutes.
A run walk. Yeah, exactly. And watching you make fitness gains from just 10 minutes a day, like 15 minutes a day, it just completely changed the way that I view working out in general. Because I realized that it's really just 1% every single day. Like you put in the work, and it doesn't really, you don't need an hour. It's just consistency is key, right? So yeah, it's cool. And it also just changes my perspective on that. So something that people can definitely think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And finding things like walking is so underrated. I think that people think, oh, if I do, a 30-minute workout a day, that's good. I'm good. But if you're sedentary for the entire rest of your day, 30 minutes a day won't make up for a sedentary lifestyle. So that flips the switch a little bit too from what we were just saying, where yes, it's good to do just 10, 15 minutes a day, but making conscious efforts to be active throughout your whole day instead of just, oh, I did a 30-minute workout, and so I'm good to lay on the couch or sit in your crane for the rest of the day. Like, yes, 10, 15 minutes is good, but even just making those conscious changes, changing the way that you're thinking about working out versus just moving and having a more active lifestyle in general, like those little changes of I'm going to walk the stairs instead of take the elevator. Like those are things that make up little tiny incremental changes and benefits to you without you even realizing it until one day you're like, whoa, I'm doing all these little things and it's all adding up. So yeah, changing the way that you think about working out versus having an active lifestyle. It's definitely different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And just talk about injuries specifically. So I'm not going to give you any names or anything like that, but somebody that I know that I work with, they are dealing with a hernia. They have to go in and get surgery done, but they're still trying to stay active. And every time that she does an hour walk, she starts to feel the discomfort of the hernia that is within her intestines. So like I said, she does have to go in for surgery soon again, but she's still trying to stay on top of her fitness. And she's like, I'm having a hard time. I wake up in the morning, I do my hour walk or light jog, whatever, and I'm coming off of the workout, or coming off of the workout, and I'm feeling sore from my stomach, from where the hernia is. And it's just like, okay, if you know that you could do 20 minutes. By the way, she works from home as well, so she could literally stop her work and go and work out whenever is best for her. But so if you could do 20 minutes maybe 2-3 times throughout the day is another way as well to minimize injuries. So that's why for myself, I was doing 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of running up to the point till I started to feel the injury, and then I started to increase the time over time. But I said to her, I was like, what if you were to do 2 30-minute sessions or 3 20-minute sessions throughout the day? So like in the morning when you get up, do 20-minute walk, see how you feel, no injury, perfect. Okay, figure out what time you have around lunchtime, 20-minute walk, whether it's inside, outside. She's doing it on a treadmill. And then her last one, in the evening. And she's like, I never really thought about it that way. She's like, I always thought that when I'm doing a workout, I have to get it all done then and there in that moment, or it's not beneficial. It's not going to do me any good. And she works a very sedentary job. So I'm like, hey, you have the luxury of pausing your job and going outside or on your treadmill. Take advantage of it, right? Like try to come up with different ways that you can stay active. Yes, for me, I work 12 hours and I'm on my butt for probably 99% of that. But there are golden opportunities for me that I could get off my crane and I could go for a walk, go grab a coffee, go grab some water, whatever, every time that I'm done in between my lifts. I have about 20 to 30 minutes where, I have to wait. So, I could go for a walk, etc. So it's taking those opportunities where you could fit something in that's going to allow you to be successful. Okay, let's move that all aside and talk about somebody that has an 8-hour shift. They're done around, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. It's now, what can you do to find the motivation to get fit? Not all of us like to go to the gym, but let's just say you are somebody that needs to go to the gym. So look for a local community, look for a gym, maybe something that your friends or family are doing. It could be an F45. This isn't just an F45 plug podcast, but it's just an example of, they have scheduled classes. You could figure out time to make it to those classes. And it's 45 minutes. You're in, you're out, you're back home having dinner, whatever, go to bed, start the day over again, right? So, it's trying to figure out what your options are, or if you're on the higher end of things, get a personal trainer. They have in-home personal trainers, or you could go to the studio to do group sessions or one-on-one, right? So, Erin, what do you think about that?
What do you think about that?
I think that, I know for a fact that there's tons and tons of studies out there showing that if you have people around you that are holding you accountable to your fitness goals, you will be more successful. If you are part of a group, if you go to F45, if you go to a run group like we've been going to, that there's going to be people there. And if you say you're going and you go, they're going to be expecting you there. So it's definitely a huge motivator. Also, contrary to what a lot of people like to believe, I know some people are hesitant to invest lots of money right up front. And I totally get it if, you're not in that financial position to afford a personal trainer. But you have to invest in your journey, because if you don't invest in your journey, and if you don't invest financially in yourself or in a trainer or a gym or whatever your interest is, you're not really going to feel that accountability to go. So for example, I've talked to lots of members at F45. There's a reason it's expensive. It's an amazing gym, but anyone would say that you pay that price and you better make it worth it. You want to go because you want to make that money count. You want to make sure that you're going and you're using the gym that you're paying for. So investing in a plan, even if it's just online, you'll be more likely to do it. That's just common sense. You just will be more likely to do it. So you have to want to invest in yourself when it comes to your journey.
Yeah. The fact that you're bringing that up is huge. Absolutely. And it's you don't want to waste that money. And that's a driving factor for a lot of people as well is, you have spent $300 every 2 weeks or $600 every month on your health. That is the best investment you could possibly be making. And it is a lot of money when you're putting that, in somebody else's pocket. So yeah, you better show up. Don't waste your money. And I think, when you have an emotional connection towards something, whether it's a race, you're going to have an emotional connection to that because you don't want to let yourself down. You don't want to let any friends and family members that you've told about it down, right? Kids, if your kids are doing something and you want to be physically fit, there has to be that emotional connection to it for it to be important to you, right? And money is just another forms of things that you could use as a motivator and something that's going to keep you accountable. Because throwing money out the window, that hurts a lot of people, and wasting money and burning it, or wherever you want to look at it, it's, you got to make each penny count. You can invest into online programs, and then there's the people out there that are also self-driven, right? And, for example, Aaron and I are very self-driven. I personally do not need a gym to stay on top of my goals, because my goals are so emotionally intertwined into my lifestyle that, like, I don't care about what other people's opinions are. It's my own personal opinion that I have established with the connection with training, that, if I don't put in the work, then, tomorrow I'm not going to feel as good as I did the days that I put in the work. Right. And so for me, I just want to feel better every day, knowing that, okay, I've got my workout done. I know that, moving forward towards the goal that I'm trying to work towards, whether it's one of my races or there's a body weight that I want to get to, whatever, it's that I'm going to feel so good about myself because I put in the work. Aaron, do you have anything to add to that?
I think another thing is, when you're starting out, I know everyone says this, but you're not going to see results right away necessarily. Find habits, stick to it. It'll take 2 weeks to a month. I tell people, they work out twice and then they're like, what? Nothing's happening. And I think it's about being very patient, very understanding, and starting to kind of shift your perspective to appreciate the little tiny changes. You eat healthy one day, amazing. That's a huge win. But that doesn't mean that you're going to lose 5 pounds that day because you've eaten healthy. It's about little, small, positive changes. And you'll get there eventually. But I think that's the biggest thing when you're starting out, is you want everything. And that's when people drop off. We see it all the time, 4 weeks and people aren't seeing changes. And 4 weeks is about that time when people tend to drop off their goals, because they're almost there to seeing changes and results, but they haven't seen it yet. And 4 weeks is a long time to commit to something. So if you just push past that period of time when you don't think anything's happening and you're not doing anything, and like you're not seeing results yet, and you don't feel like you're doing enough, you are doing enough. Just stay with it, stay consistent. It's just that awkward hump that you've got to get over before you can really see the changes in your life happening.
Absolutely. And another thing too, just to add with what you're saying, like being patient, right? Like, you don't have to go to the gym every single day, right? Be smart about it. If you can't get it in that day, that's okay. Go for a walk, do something light, and know that tomorrow is going to be a new day. And people have goals and they want to achieve them to yesterday, right? It's just, you have to be patient. Everything comes with time, and just do little bits. Don't try to take on everything. Don't try to do every single class that is offered. If you're sore one day, don't beat yourself up about it. You know what I mean? There's other things that you can do to, stay consistent and active recovery, whether, like I said, it's a walk or mobility, stretching, etc. But, you don't have to get all those results all in one go. Yes, it might take 2 to 4 weeks for you to see stuff, but like that right there is such a small window or a small amount of time invested into something. If you have been sedentary for 5 years to 10 years and you think that you doing 1 month of training is going to give you results, it's going to be a shock to you. So just know that you need to respect the process and just keep showing up. Don't give up. There are going to be hard days, but you have to be patient. That is absolutely number one when it comes down for anything in life, whether it's your fitness, your sleep, your eating, etc. Those things there take time, and you just need to keep showing up, which is absolutely critical.
Absolutely.
So
I will say, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say another thing. I mean, I think challenges are good. Setting a date for yourself, like, oh, by this date, you know, I want this to happen. I agree and I disagree. I mostly disagree, because if your goal is lifelong fitness and lifelong health, there is no end date. There is no end date. And I find that if people set an end date to, okay, at this point, I'm going to look like this, I'm going to be like this, they get to that date and either they do look like that and then they're like, okay, and take a big deep breath, and then they just, you know, lose all those habits right after, or they don't make it to that point by that date and they're so hard on themselves. Like, why didn't I get here? You know, this was my goal and I'm not at that point. So for me, like, I just look at it, I want to be 80 and I want to be still being able to go out and walk or run with my friends or do this. I want an active lifestyle for my whole life. There's no start, there's no end. It's just every day I'm doing the best I can to live that lifestyle that I want for myself. And, you know, that I feel like that's just a way healthier way of looking at it. And then it takes the pressure off of yourself as well, just to get to that point whenever you get there, and life will happen as it should, you know?
Yep, 100%. So. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, you know, you don't want to beat yourself up if you don't get it on the date that you have set for yourself. Don't get me wrong, still set a date. It still puts a fire underneath your butt. It's the same thing like when Aaron and I do races, you know, it's a date that we need to be at our peak or peak on that date. So, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You pick and choose what's going to, you know, keep you accountable. Use a date. Awesome. But if that date comes and things will work out in your favor, just set a new date and just keep moving forward, right? So let's talk about time management, right? So everybody's schedule that is listening to this podcast probably has a way different schedule than you and I. So the thing is, you need to sit down and look at what are your open windows of opportunities. Can you work out better in the morning? Can you work out better in the evening? Do you work out better at lunchtime? And you know, if you only have half an hour, great. Can you do 10? Do you have an hour? Great. Can you do 45? So figure out what your blocks are of time that you can dedicate with no distractions a workout in. Like I said, whether, you know, it's mobility, it's a hard intensity training session, it's a walk, whatever it might be, just fit into that window. Obviously having a schedule or a routine or a coach or one-on-one trainer, somebody that's going to give you structure is very important. So I would highly recommend looking into that as well, because you don't want to waste your time where you get into the gym, you're like, I don't know what to do. And you just kind of sit there and 45 minutes is now wasted, right? So when it comes down to time management, figure out what you can do efficiently in that time, right? So for myself, I have come to learn that working out after work for me is best, because I'm not sacrificing my sleep in the morning. So I found when I first started at Dofasco there that I was, waking up early, sacrificing about an hour and a half of my sleep so I could put a workout in. So the reason why I stopped sacrificing my sleep is because I want to get better sleep. More energy I'm going to have by getting efficient sleep is going to allow me to feel better throughout the day. So I made sure that once I was done work is when I was going to work out. And I found ever since I started doing that, I have been feeling more motivated. I've had better workouts after work, and I'm still getting my 7 to almost 8 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. I think breaking down your life and actually taking a good hard look at what your needs are versus what your wants are in your life, or your unnecessary habits. So an example would be, well, you have to be at work for 12 hours. That's a requirement. But how much work are you doing at work? Is there any period of time when you kind of have like downtime, and actually taking note of that? So kind of like doing a tally maybe for a week, and that will really give you a good breakdown of kind of like what you have to do, and then what you just fill things with, like filler time. Mm-hmm. So an example would be like in the morning, if you spend 15 minutes on your phone in bed, I know a lot of us probably do that, checking social media. That is not a necessity. Or if you don't meal prep and then you spend 30 minutes a day prepping your food in the morning, like I know, Spencer, you do that. And it's like, if you prepped all your food all at once, then you'd free up a lot of time each day. That's just an example. I'm always on his butt about that, because I just think I would just prep all my food together. Actually, you've started doing that, or commuting to work, do you have to spend 30 minutes in the car going to work? Okay, well, that's something that you can't really change. But yeah, everyone has time. That's my that's my pet peeve excuse, is when people say they don't have time. Because even parents with young children, I'm not even a mom, and I still I know there's yoga on YouTube that's with a baby. So there's all kinds of different exercises that you can do with a child if they're cooperating.
Absolutely.
Like I see parents running with their kids in their strollers. There's just so many options, and there's always time. It's about what is your priority.
Exactly.
Because it's just, you will always find time for what is important to you.
100%.
If family time's important, you'll find time for that. If work's important, you'll find time for that. If working out is important, you have to find time for that. It's just a matter of prioritizing your life, honestly.
Well, just the whole commute example, somebody that does commute to work, whether it's 30 minutes, 2 hours, etc. That's a long day. But if your health is important to you, or maybe you don't have kids and you don't have to rush home, right? Like I don't know what it feels like to be a parent. I mean, I have a fur baby, but when you are done work at the end of the day, traffic's going to be bad. And if you were to wait a half an hour, 45 minutes, etc., will traffic slow down? Will the roads clear up a bit more? So that's an opportunity there. You could go do a half an hour, 20-minute class after work, something that's going to wake you up. I'm sure you're going to feel a little bit tired, groggy, having to sit in traffic. There's an opportunity right there for you to go and do something that's going to allow you to feel a little bit better. And, just a check mark off the list at the end of the day for that personal self-accomplishment, right? So there's many ways of working around it. And like Aaron said, it's just, you got to make time for it. And we all have time. Don't use time as an excuse, because there's no way in hell, and I'm calling out on everybody's bullshit, that you are that busy all day that you cannot dedicate 5 to 10 minutes for yourself. So yeah, that's it about time management. So is there anything that we missed there? Anything that you want to talk about more so?
No, I just think excuses in general, no matter what it is, I would say that the only person making excuses for yourself is yourself. If you allow yourself to make excuses for yourself, nothing will ever change. You have to be your own worst critic. Like, you have to be the one to call yourself out on your own bullshit. Like, no one, maybe you do have a partner that can call you out, but at the end of the day, like, your fitness journey and your journey in life is your own. And you can't let yourself make excuses for yourself, because like, you have to be the one that's being hard on yourself, because you're going to be your own motivation. So yeah.
And that goes,
if you find yourself falling into your own hole, like, you need to be the one to pick yourself out of it.
Absolutely.
And tell yourself the hard truth.
Yep. And that goes along with the next topic. So is create the environment for success, right? And, you know, as Aaron just said there, like, have a partner that calls you out on your bullshit. You if exercise and health is a priority to you, invest into the clothes, the shoes that make you feel good in the gym. Start to put things in your daily routine path that is a reminder, whether it's putting the running shoes by the door. If you like to work out at home, having weights, maybe in the living room, in the location that you are going to see it as a reminder to tell you, hey, I need to work out today. Making that a priority to create the environment for success. And I mean, not everybody has X amount of room in where they live or whatever, right? For example, Aaron and I have a gym in the house here. We have a cardio room and then we have a weight room. I just so happened to be lucky that when I was personal training, I had some fitness equipment that I was able to, take with me and put in my own house. And then the cardio stuff just came afterwards. But, we have a goal to compete in triathlons or ultra marathons or whatever it may be, wherever our personal fitness endeavors go. We make sure that we have the things in front of us as a reminder, or building the environment that we need to be successful. The environment doesn't always have to be physical objects, right? It could be how you talk to yourself about working out. It could be the people around you. Are you around people that don't care about their health and fitness? Well, that might be something that you need to talk to yourself about and figure out, okay, if I have a goal, are my friends or my family supporting that goal? Do they also live that same lifestyle, right? So making sure that you are surrounding yourself around people that you look up to, that are going to support you and want to see you also be the person that you're trying to be. Because when you have negative people around you that are, their path is let's go party and eat junk food, that's going to be an easy temptation to take if that's something that you're so used to doing, but you're trying to change a habit and you can't because you have X, Y, and Z over here doing something that is completely off or not aligned with what you're trying to achieve for yourself.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage to be honest as well with yourself, with people around you. If you're living in a household and you want to make a radical change in your life and your partner isn't on the same page as you, that's a conversation that needs to happen. And if that's something that's super important to you, then you really need to think about, okay, how do I approach this conversation to my partner, to my friends, and it sucks. You might need to not go out on the weekends with your friends. I know I dealt with that a lot in university, and you kind of just have to have the courage to say no, because that's like the hardest thing for a lot of people is they can try and change and be as motivated as they want. But if the environment doesn't support their goals, it's really, really difficult to change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just an example of that. So Aaron and I are now training for an ultra marathon, 50K. So the race would have Spartan race, 50-kilometer Spartan race. And by the time you guys are hearing this, we have already done the race, but, we connected with a community in Hamilton called Steeltown Athletic Club, and they do trail running. So, Aaron and I already do trail running, but we just felt like we needed a little bit more motivation, or I did. I personally, I can't remember if you checked them out first or I checked them out first, but regardless, I just said, hey, you know what, this looks like a good idea. What if we go and join in with this community? And I think it would be good for us to have some other people to connect with, to keep us, accountable and motivated and stuff like that. And it's gone above and beyond that for Aaron and I. We actually look forward to going and run with the run group with Stack. And, it was just another way for us to create the environment that we needed to be successful with, one, our training. Two, it gives us variety as well when it comes down to, you know, different places to go to, and then also connecting with the community. That's just something with triathlon training that it's hard to be in a group with that, because there's so many elements of triathlon. You got strength training, you have swimming, you have biking, and then you have running. And, you know, for myself as a shift worker, I don't have the luxury of being able to go and train with a club because I can never make the times. So, you know, for creating the environment for this upcoming run, I saw that their times fit in with my work schedule, and I was able to make it out to the runs and be more part of that. And you know, just going back to the moral of it is just, you know, I'm just trying to create environments or opportunity and people to, you know, keep me accountable to keep showing up. So that is just an example of what you could try to look for in your own community, of different things that you may be interested in to give you that sense of accountability, give you that sense of, okay, I'm changing my environment to be a more healthier setting. And yeah, you know, Facebook, Instagram, connect with people. There's Strava, always running challenges, always connecting people with different clubs in the local area, right? So use those tools there, and those there will, you know, help you immensely with connecting with what your why is in the environment. So Erin, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I would say if you're a beginner, don't be afraid to put yourself out there, because everyone starts from somewhere. Like, it's crazy thinking about where I started. I couldn't even run more than 4 kilometers. And then you just have to completely believe in yourself and find people that believe in you too. And this Stack running community that we run with, it's beginner all the way to, like, I guess, full on athlete. And no one gets left behind in a run. Somehow we manage, like, everyone is always like meeting or waiting for people in the back, people in the front, coming back, circling around. Like, don't be afraid to start, because if you don't start, you just never will. Yeah. And everyone starts from somewhere. Even like the most elite athletes in the entire world, Michael Phelps, he had to learn how to swim at some point, right? Whether maybe he was 4 years old, but still, like, you're an adult onset swimmer. And now you're a great swimmer. And it just goes to show how much can change in a year if you just believe in your own self. Like, if you think that you have, like, if you really are like, I really want to start running, or I really want to start cycling, or whatever it may be, the hardest part is to start. Yeah. That is like the hardest thing to do, is to put yourself out there and be in an area of discomfort, of unknown. No one likes to be out of their comfort zone, but yeah, it's just about, putting yourself out there. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. You know, like Erin says, if you're a beginner, just show up. We've all been there. Don't be afraid. I mean, correction, you will be afraid. You will be nervous. And that brings me to my next topic, actually, is mindset around fitness. So yeah, you know, we have our demons. We have, you know, one side of our shoulder that likes to talk into our ear. That is the good side. And then the other side of the shoulder is the bad side, right? You got your angel, and then you got the devil on their side, right? So it's like, you know, what voice do you think is right to listen to? I still deal with this. Erin still deals with this. It's something that is an ongoing battle that you're going to have between yourself and that inner voice. And it's your job to choose what is real and what is going to motivate you and push you forward. When you cave into the dark side of your inner voice, that is going to manifest a mindset of failing before you've even begun. If you listen to that inner voice and say, you know what, I love myself, I'm going to get in shape, I know it's going to be hard, recognizing that it's going to be hard is so important, because it's not going to be easy. And in building that visualization, to see yourself being the person that you're trying to create It all starts with how you think about yourself. So if you talk negative to yourself, that's going to build. And the way that I always ask myself is, would I talk to somebody else the way that I talk to myself? If I say that I suck, I'm a loser, I'm never going to be good enough, I'm always going to be fat, I'm always going to be slow. You know what? Like, would you talk to somebody like that in their face and be honest and say, you're going to be fat, you're going to be slow? Probably not. So you shouldn't turn it around and talk to yourself. And you know, if I was going to say to myself, you know, I will never learn how to swim. Swimming is so hard. I'm not good enough. I'm an adult, blah, 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 blah. Like, the endless list goes on. And those are just excuses. And those are stories that are not true. Yes, I'm not a good swimmer, or I was not a good swimmer, but I was learning how to swim, right? So it's about the words that you choose to allow you to see the bigger picture, that you are capable of achieving something. Like I said, you got to keep showing up, talk to yourself in a positive way, and eventually you'll get there, right? With a race, there's a start, there's a middle, there's an end. Goes along with everything else in life. You start a job, there's a middle of that job, job ends, you move on to the next one. You know what I mean? There's a relationship, there's a start, there's a middle, or there's a forever, or there's an end. So it's just like, you got to get started. You got to, you know, keep growing along the way. It's going to be challenges. There's going to be bumps, but never cave in to the negative self-talk. Look for the positivity in everything. Like, mental health is so important now. It's mainstream. Everybody talks about it. Don't be afraid to talk about it. You know, when you take care of your health, when it comes down to your physical fitness, like I said, it's going to instill that state of confidence and knowing that you are feeling stronger. You have energy to walk up those stairs. You have the energy to go out for that little light jog with your girlfriends or whoever it may be. Like, when you start to train, it opens up so many opportunities for you that they are literally endless. And because now you have that instilled confidence physically and psychologically, you are just, like I said, creating a better version of yourself every single day.
I think this is silly, but I've completely changed my mindset over the past year of how I overcome those hurdles that might be seen as like a negative thing, like kind of what you were talking about. Mm-hmm. And it's really occurred to me that it is such a privilege that we get to even have these challenges that challenge ourselves. For example, we sign up for a race. I know for a fact it's going to be super challenging. So when I get to that low point in the race, when I feel like I want to quit, I hate my life, why did I sign up for this? I just think to myself, wow, it is a privilege that I'm here and that I'm able to come out of this as a better person. It's a privilege that I'm even able to be in this race. You know, if I eat unhealthy one day, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's a privilege that I'm able to like be so selfish in the sense that, you know, I'm just trying to improve myself in different ways. And the fact that I can even be so selfish into putting any energy into that, like, I don't know if that makes sense, but all of these challenges that we overcome, they're so minuscule. Like, we are just so lucky to be living how we are living right now, that even the smallest challenges might seem like a big deal, but just reminding yourself that really at the end of the day, they're not that big of a deal. And that we're so lucky to even be having these little challenges that will make us a better person in the end. Yeah. I don't know if that made sense, but no, to me, that's 100% just kind of like how I look at it.
Sorry. Yes, it made sense. No, I agree with you. Yeah. Like, what we do when it comes down to our own personal discomfort are very small things. And, you know, I like to talk a lot about mental resilience and mental toughness. And yeah, like for you and I personally, doing races and just finishing the race is a certain kind of emotion that a lot of people don't understand that we get from these things. Like, you know, growing up, and I'm sure everybody's heard my story right now. Like, I grew up with ADHD and a learning disability. So right there, that has defined me. Sorry, I won't say has defined me. It's been a title of mine that has kind of illuminated over my head, and I'm always trying to go above that title, to defeat the thought that, you know, I can't learn something. I have ADHD. You know, I've come to learn now that though that's a superpower, having ADHD. I'm constantly doing different things and having a good time, you know, being curious about what life has to offer. And then the learning opportunity is just, you know, I could say to myself, you know, I'll never learn anything in life, but I'm just keep pushing that bar further and further away, and, you know, learn how to swim, learn how to become a firefighter, learn any kind of job, learn how to edit, do podcasts, YouTube, etc. Right? Like, you know, it's why I keep coming back to my own personal fitness, because it's a small challenge that I have control over. And I know every time that I do it, it's going to give me that personal satisfaction every single day. And yeah, like, you know, I am extremely grateful. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there that have it obviously a lot worse, that also are grateful for the limitations that they might have, and they make the best of it through their diversity. And it goes for somebody that may have something less than me, maybe has lost an arm or a leg. But, you know, if you look, you know, not to compare to people on Instagram or anything like that, but, you know, they could be like, I have this limitation. I can't work out. I can't do anything. You know what? To them, they're probably going through the same thing where they're having that mental battle in their head, being like, screw that. I'm still going to work out. This doesn't define me. This does not slow me down. I'm going to do whatever it possibly can in my power to keep showing up and being 1% better, right? So you could either continue to make excuses for yourself, or you could keep on finding ways that you're going to allow those, create challenges for yourself. Find those ways to create those challenges for yourself, so you could have that personal reassurance that, you know, you are constantly getting 1% better. I want to start to win races. I want to continue to get better as an athlete. Those are my challenges. Those are my personal hurdles. And every time I come closer to it, it's my own personal reassurance that, you know, I am getting 1% better. I don't want to win races for the recognition or the reward. It's only for my own personal benefit. And it's something I'm going to constantly be using as a form of motivation and accountability, so I could keep talking to myself in a positive way. If I don't win, that's okay. I'm still going to keep showing up, because it's those little small challenges that are going to motivate me to keep myself accountable.
Yeah. And if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. Like, that expression I've heard a million times. But it's so true. Like, and the thing you said about gratitude, just learning to become more grateful as well. Like, I'm so grateful I have this time to do this workout. I'm so grateful that I have access to this food that's going to like nourish me after my workout. Just being more aware and grateful will help you appreciate those moments more, and also help with any negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is huge as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to challenge yourself, because I mean, there's always going to be things that we don't think we can do. And if you really put yourself out there and try to do them, it doesn't even need to be a race. It can be, you know, I don't think I'll ever lose these 10 pounds. I don't think I'll ever be able to, you know, walk my daughter down the aisle because I can't stand or walk, just like little things like that. Whatever your goal is, you really just have to believe you can do it, and then you can.
Yep.
If you put in the work, you know, anyone can do anything.
For sure. Absolutely. And, you know, just to summarize everything we kind of went over, right? Like, is find your why, you know, ask yourself 5 times, 10 times, why, and keep answering it and get deeper with that question. You know, trying to figure out your routine that is going to allow you to be efficient and keep showing up. Don't be afraid to ask questions to people that are doing it as well. Create the environment that is going to allow you to be successful in those little reminders don't forget you have a cell phone. Set reminders on your phone. Get your workout in today. Follow Instagram motivational people or quotes or whatever it might be. Those reminders that are always going to be there to allow you to just make it be something that you're thinking about more, because you want it to become a part of you. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you make your bed. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you work out, make your bed. Whatever it might be, you make it a part of you. How much are you willing to invest, right? Don't be afraid to take risks with your finances. Put the money up front and it will pay off in the long run. Because when you have something that you're emotionally connected to, it's going to make it way more worth it to you when you put the investment in. And then also your mental status, right? There's meditation apps out there. There's YouTube, there's self-help books, there's friends and family. You know, connect with those people that are going to allow you to have a much more clear and healthy mental perspective on your personal goals, your personal self-talk, and just also being a role model, right? If you don't want to be a negative person, don't think negatively. I mean, it goes hand in hand, right? So trying to create the environment to have a healthy mindset is just like, honestly, that has to be number one for me, because it all starts up here first. And if you aren't, you know, treating yourself right mentally, then it's going to be hard to treat yourself right in other categories. And yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you would like to add to that, Erin?
I think just be the person that your 10-year-old self would have looked up to. Always think about who you want to be and how you can become that person. And it's never too late to become that person, no matter what you've done or where you are now. You can always, always, always make a change. It's sometimes harder than others, but there's no limits. No, you can do anything.
Yeah. And that's exactly it too, is like, you could change. Everybody can change. For somebody that says I can't change, that's a narrow mindset. And I'm going to call bullshit on it once again. Everybody can change. It's all about, do you want to change? Are you willing to put in the work? It's not going to be easy. It's not going to happen overnight. So be patient with it and just know that change is coming. It's going to take time, but it will happen. And one thing I would like to just go back on when it comes down to fitness, try to think back to those things that you used to do as a kid. When I got back into triathlon, I had a day where I was riding my bike or I was swimming. I can't remember which one it was, or maybe it happened with both of them, because those are some things that I did when I was a kid. I was like, wow, like this makes me feel so good because I feel like a kid again. I'm having fun, right? And fitness doesn't need to be something that's serious or high intensity and super crazy like what you might see out in the mainstream. Find something that you enjoy doing. It brings life back into you, makes you feel like a kid again, whether that's swimming, biking, running, you know, throwing a football, playing frisbee, find a sport. I don't care what it is. Figure out what that thing is that makes you feel like a kid again. And that's another good way to stay in it for the long run, because you're having fun. And that's another very important part that I don't think this podcast needs to miss, is that, you know, we do this because we have fun, right? Let's take all seriousness out of the picture. I love what I do. I'm constantly thinking about what other things can I challenge myself with, because it's fun. I love the people that I meet along the way. I love it that I get to do it with my girlfriend. I love it that I get to share it with the people or the communities that we have met and have come across, because they also love it. It's fun. It's something that, you know, you really need to invest into mentally. What is it that's going to keep you accountable? And if it's fun, keep doing that thing, because that's going to allow you to continue to grow from it, and then also open up other doors of opportunity.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So
that's it.
That's it for today, guys. We are going to get into other topics. Erin and I, potentially get into some nutrition. We're going to get into, I don't even know what. Basically, you know, we could talk about gear and all that stuff as well. But yeah, thank you for joining us this week. This is something a little bit different, so we're gonna do more of these. If you guys do enjoy these kind of conversations and you want to hear us talk about other topics, please comment in the YouTube comments. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram at the Shiftwork Athlete. And yeah, thank you so much for joining Aaron and I for this chat. And we look forward to connecting with you, and we'll see you in the next podcast. So have yourself a good one. Peace and love.